Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Well, the fact that we're here today, it means everything. It means everything for the legislative branch to get the sign off from our governor, Josh Shapiro, to not just send a message, but to change the process by which too many people, rich, poor, black, white, Southeast Asian, doesn't matter what you look like. But the fact that the courts can have jurisdiction over you for an unlimited amount of time and can almost say boo and scare you into the stress that can sometimes trigger an addiction relapse. And then that's another violation. It's an outrageous cycle. But the good news today, in the birthplace of democracy, is that Republicans and Democrats for the last several years have been working on legislation to change it, and today it is becoming law.
We hope that thousands of Pennsylvanians will no longer be trapped in the probation cycle where those small mistakes, as Leader McClinton said, are treated as major violations. Our system should reward those who change their behavior and make a serious commitment to bettering their lives and coming back to the communities that they call home. So make no mistake, this is a milestone piece of legislation.
You know, this is not just about one person, and that's what critics tried to start us with. This is not just about Meek. Meek was the catalyst to get people to pay attention to the fact that there are other black and brown and white and Asian and poor folk across Pennsylvania who were trapped in a system that continued to send them back to prison for things that were minor, things that could have been redirected, things that could have been dealt with differently, but they were being sent back to prison, costing taxpayers money, ripping families apart, and causing damage that far too many of our young people have not been able to recover from. Far too many. But in order to actually make the change, you have to make systematic change. And that's what today is. It is the systematic change of our probation system. To Meek, thanks for sharing your story and uplifting this. To Mike, for putting all of your effort and building the Reform Alliance to make this happen. I remember when we were in New York, when we first started all of this. Thank you for your persistence in getting this done.
This is the greatest gift that we can give during a holiday, a gift of reform, a gift of second chances, a gift of redemption. I first got on probation when I was 12 years old. I thought I was going to be protected, but I was prosecuted. There was things that was out of my control that I couldn't handle. I couldn't take myself back to school if my mother didn't wake me up. I couldn't get in the house if I was locked out. But my probation officer will find me in violation of technical violations, will send me back to placement instead of addressing the underlying issue, instead of being there and figuring out what I need to be more successful, they put more restrictions on me. And this bill is not only going to affect people, but generations to come.
You know, I say to people all the time, I feel like I don't feel a lot of things anymore, but man, do I feel this. This really is pretty historic. It all started right here in Philadelphia with someone going to prison for 2 to 4 years for not committing a crime. And I'm so excited about finally getting this done. Josh, you said you were going to make this happen. What a team sport. But you made it happen, and I know how hard it was. And you know what? I wish it wasn't this hard, but I know how much effort every one of you put into this, and to the reform team, to Robert Rooks, to Jessica, to my chief of staff, Saj, who has worked his butt off to get this done. And you know, when we started the Reform Alliance, I'll leave you with this. We realized this wasn't about taking individual cases. This was about using someone's case like Meek's to shine a light on the whole broken system. And we committed, and we made a goal. I remember debating this with Josh. Right. How many people should we work to get out of probation and parole? And there were 4.5 million people in the system on parole and probation at that time. And we said, we're going to work to get 1 million people out of the system while keeping communities safe. And today, I think the bills we've passed, we've already created a pathway for over 700,000 people. And I think this is going to do another 120,000 people over the next 5 years. So we're impacting millions of people, their families, and everyone. And so all I want to say to all of you is thank you and congratulations.
I wanted to say thank you to everyone here today. my reform team, everyone at Reform, everyone in Pennsylvania, Dems and Republicans that helped me get this bill done, help us get this bill done for Pennsylvania, Joanna, Robert, Jessica. And I tell Mike, I tell Josh, Governor, all the time that I could have went to prison a few more times and gave up and just kind of been a person that felt like I couldn't make it any further past the system of being a felon. They closed bank accounts. I couldn't live. My mom been living in New Jersey for 10 years. Yeah, every time I crossed the Ben Franklin to go pick my mom up to take my son to school in New Jersey, I was actually committing crime the whole time from technical violations. And I didn't have any way to get around that because I already was in jail my whole 20s. My son seen me in prison, and I wanted to take my son to school, so I thought that it's either I'm going to go to jail, I'm going to take my son to school, and, I end up taking my son to school. So I want to thank you guys here today. I don't want to get emotional because it's a lot. We all grew up in the streets, and we try to be better, but they labeled us felons, sent us back to jail. I had to fight against that the whole time to gain my respect and be who I am today, and I'm proud of that. And I really do this for the people that helped me be in this position, even seeing my mom here. She ain't had nobody to call when a technical violation was 10 years. I always wanted to be better, and you guys in here in this room helped me be that today.
This right here is for the people that the world forgot about. We come from the ghetto. I spent my life in the system. I'm on probation. I'm on parole to 2048. I pay millions in taxes. I take care of my community. I do stuff for us. Me and Meek, what we doing, we giving people hope back where we come from. I don't benefit from this today, but my people benefit from this. And when my people benefit from this, I'm happy. And I just want to thank everybody here. And listen, man, the hood won today. We won. I love Pennsylvania for this. Thank you.
Thanks, Wallow. Let me begin by saying thank you to my good friend, Meek Mill. I want you to know, man, I've been inspired by you and your story. I've been blessed to get to know you, and we are so proud to call you a friend. Back in 2017, as Michael talked about, just a few months into my term as Attorney General, I got a call from Michael. He told me that his buddy, a rapper from North Philadelphia named Meek Mill, showed up for a court date because of a technical violation on his probation. And instead of getting some warning, instead of getting maybe some community service, Meek was taken away that day in handcuffs, sentenced to 2 to 4 years for simply popping a wheelie. Mike was adamant that day and every day thereafter that Meek didn't deserve that. We all learned from Meek's case because it shined a light on the injustices in our probation system. How someone could be sentenced to prison for years for not committing a crime, but for just a technical violation of a long probation. Look, most of the people we know, they're not famous. They don't have friends like Michael Rubin. So when Meek got out, we all talked together about how we could learn from Meek's experience and how we could help others. We didn't want Meek to be the final verse of the song. We wanted him to be the opening. And the result, as Michael talked about, was Reform, born from Michael's passion and born from Meek's lived experience. The Reform Alliance, let me tell you, they have had an incredible impact on our criminal justice system, not just here in Pennsylvania, but all across the United States of America. And with the help of another friend, unlikely friend, I guess, Jay-Z, who I know has been especially vocal on this issue and wishes he could have been here today, and leaders like your CEO, Robert Rooks, and the aforementioned Jessica Jackson, who has everybody on speed dial, it seems.
Yes.
You have been able to win in 10 different states. But I know here in your home state, this one is the most special. So I'm going to say to my friend Meek and Michael, the entire Reform team, Saj, and everyone who had a hand in this, thank you for not making this just about Meek. Thank you for leaning in and making this about the good people of Pennsylvania, the good people of this nation, who deserve a second chance.